Hi, welcome to my other show, Muse. My name is Susan Rushton, and this is the show on which I get to talk to people who are visited by the Muse, but in other words, who are artists, who create, who make things beautiful. And my guest today is Amber Lee-Alva, who is superintendent of Auburn Union School District. She's the new superintendent. And I wanted to clarify why this is called Muse, and I'm talking to the superintendent. I think education, teaching people, is an art. And this person who is in charge of everything at Auburn Union School District has to be an artist. Amber, welcome to the show and welcome to Auburn.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah. It is my pleasure and honor to serve the students and the community of Auburn.
Yes, thank you. And tell us what the slogan is, please.
So our vision statement is, we stand together to place every child at the heart of every decision.
Heart.
Yes.
Okay. Does heart stand for anything, or is that just it?
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Children, we have to have heart to be in this business.
Okay. Yes, I agree. As a person who used to teach, who doesn't teach anymore, but this is what I do, at the heart of Auburn. So if you're interested in learning more and meeting her, you can contact her at Lee-Alva at auburn.k12.ca.us, or take a look at the website auburn.k12.ca.us, and you'll recognize the Auburn Union School District website, and there's a lot there. And if you want to drop by the physical plant, 255 Epperle Lane, Auburn, and their phone number, 530-885-7242. Okay.
Or you can also follow me on Twitter at SupLeeAlva. SupTleeAlva.
Souped Lee-Alva. Okay. And before we started taping, you said something about now we have a Twitter account. And so talk about how that is feeling, how that's going.
Honestly, very uncomfortable. I am not on social media. This is new for me. And last Friday we had our leadership retreat. Okay. And so I asked all of our administrators, our management, to get a Twitter account. And many of them did have one, but some, it was really a new adventure for them. And I like to say that we are the digital immigrants, where our children that we serve are the natives.
Yes, absolutely.
And for some of us, it's a challenge. But one of our goals this year is we have to tell our story. If we aren't telling our story, who is? And in most cases, it may not be accurate.
And when you say our story, you mean teacher's story?
The story of the district.
The district?
All the great things that are happening in our district, the great things that our kids are doing, our staff. There's just a lot of wonderful things going on, and people don't know. If you don't have a child in our district, how do you know what's going on?
Yeah.
And so we have to be the ones to tell our story.
Yeah. And I'm remembering when I was a teacher, one of the veteran teachers says that she told the parents, if you don't believe everything, everything that comes home to you, I won't believe everything that comes to school to me.
That was always my opening statement at back to school night.
Yes. Wow. So the story needs to be told. You need to get the story out, and yes. So since you brought it up, what are some other good things that you're planning on that's planning on happening at the school district?
Well, there was just a wonderful article in Sunday's Auburn Journal about our middle school, Evie Kane, and the great things that they're doing with nature and with science. They are a STEAM school, which stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Yeah. So they're doing some incredible things there.
And I've also heard that over several years, the students have gone to the science fair in Sacramento and have done great work, and that's thrilling. And I would love to hear more about that as the time comes, when the time comes.
Absolutely. I've only been on the job for about 3 weeks, so I'm still learning all the wonderful things that are happening in Auburn. And I've been getting out to the community on my Look, Listen, and Learn tour. So I'm in that learning phase of learning exactly what's happening, and then I will be sharing it.
Good. Through your Twitter account, and how else?
We have a Facebook page that's on our main website, and then just getting out into the community, attending events.
And being on TV with Susan Rushton.
And being on TV with Susan.
Yes. So where did you come from? Where are you?
So originally I was born and raised in Southern California. So much to the dismay of my staff, I am a Dodger fan. Go Blue.
Okay.
And I moved up here about 4 years ago. So
when you say up here?
To Northern California.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And where in Northern California?
So we live in Carmichael.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful commute, only about 30 minutes. But I've been coming up to Auburn since I was a little girl. I have family that live in Newcastle and Colfax and Auburn. And so I just remember coming up here in the summertime and picking blackberries and floating on the American River. And from Southern California, Auburn felt like another world.
Wow.
It was just so peaceful and wide open spaces.
Okay.
So I love it.
So how did you get involved in superintendenting?
So I've always wanted to be a superintendent.
Why?
So my very first year I was a kindergarten teacher, and I had this amazing woman.
Can you see this woman? Excuse me.
Yeah.
As a kindergarten teacher. I certainly can. Yes. I'll bet you were great.
Oh, thank you. I tried. So she was an amazing woman, and she was a former kindergarten teacher, and she was superintendent, and she led with passion and conviction, but also kindness. And she was tough, but she was loving. And so, you don't know what you don't know. And I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. And I walked up to her 6 months on the job. And I said, Dr. Roberts, one day I'm going to have your job. And she laughed. I'm like, who is this girl? And she said, sweetie, you can have it. I'm retiring in 6 months.
Wow.
And so everything I've done since that moment has been preparing me for this role, to be the superintendent, to lead, and then to impact lives at a greater level.
Okay. And good. And you said that she was, among other things, there are two parts to a school: children and the people who work there. So she was good with both sides.
Yes.
Is that a difficult thing?
Absolutely. Part of what drew me to Auburn is that vision statement, and that we stand together to put every child at the heart of our decisions. And so I think you need to make decisions that are best for children, not necessarily adults. And sometimes that's very hard and challenging. And that's what you have to help people work through. I know that everyone in Auburn Union School District, we only have jobs because families choose to send their children to our district.
Okay.
And so we have to work to serve them and to meet their needs.
Yes. Okay. I've been one to wander around schools, reading to them and speaking and reciting, and these kids seem very happy to be there.
Yes.
They seem content, and they seem also to be very delighted to talk to their principals. Sometimes they're there because they have to, or they've gotten in a fight or talked or lost or something. But when I was young, I could barely even look at my teachers or especially the principal, because they were so old, so big, so powerful. But that's not the impression I get from these kids, and that's hopeful, I think.
We have some amazing principals. Most of them are new to Auburn. Our middle school principal, Cindy Giove at E.V. Kane, she's been there 5 years. She's starting her 6th year. Everyone else has been there 3 years or less. And so they're young, they're energetic, they're visible, they're in classrooms every day. They're talking to students, they're at lunch with them on recess. So I think they're changing that old vision of what the principal was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so you've always wanted to be a superintendent, not a principal, and not a teacher. But what is the difference between what you do and what a teacher or a principal does?
That's a great question, and actually, there's not much of a difference.
Okay.
Because at the heart of it, we're all teachers. It's just at the superintendent level, you get to impact more students. You get to set the vision and the course, and you get to then work alongside your principals and your teachers and your staff, your support staff. We can't forget about our support staff. Schools would not run without cafeteria workers and bus drivers and secretaries and even the people in the district office that process our payroll or pay our bills. It takes a village truly to raise children.
Yes. Okay. So what is so special about Auburn schools?
I'm glad you asked that. It's a great question. So on my Look, Listen, and Learn tour, I've been meeting with members of the community and meeting with staff and meeting with students. And I've asked the same 4 questions. And the first question I ask is, what is the strength of Auburn? Every single person in their own way has said it's the people and the community. We have incredibly loyal people. The reality is we are a small school district, and so we don't have the dollars that a big school district does to pay their employees what we probably should. And so people stay. People stay despite opportunities in neighboring districts that perhaps pay more. They stay because they love their job, they love their district, and they love each other. And the staff really support each other, and they stand together.
Wow.
Yes, it's refreshing to hear that coming into a new place, to know that, I mean, there's a lot of great things you could say about Auburn, but everyone has said it's the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And you've been hearing, she gets to work with these people. She gets to see. She gets to talk. That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So we can talk about ways that education is funded, that schools are funded. If schools, and this is not part of the thing we were planning on talking about, but if we didn't fund schools through property taxes, how else might schools be funded? Do you have any idea? Have there been other possibilities popping up somewhere?
Through education foundations, through grants, through donations. I think one thing that the public isn't aware of is that roughly about 80 to 90% of public education funding goes to salary and benefits. So that means we only have about 15% of our total budget to put into the classroom, to put for supplies, materials, to pay the light bill, to pay the water bill. And it makes it very challenging to stretch those dollars to make them go further, which is why we really rely on the community. We rely on the community to help support us through volunteering, through donations, because there just isn't enough funding.
Yeah, and there is nothing more important than education and educating children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're our future. They're our future.
Yeah. Oh, let's cry. So of course you would love it if people took you at your word and said, "Oh yes, Amber, let me contribute, let me volunteer." And so the way to do that is to approach the school district or the school or the classroom?
Yes, absolutely. Also, I'm very proud to serve in a community that has its own education foundation. So the Auburn Education Foundation also greatly supports our school districts.
Great. And so the Auburn Education Foundation, you can Google that and
Yeah.
find the website.
Yeah.
Auburn Education Foundation, you can Google that and find the website.
You know, I know this wasn't what we were planning on talking about, but it's something that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about equity, not equality, but about equity. And what many people don't know is that our schools receive different funding based on sometimes zip code. We have a school in the Bay Area because of where they're located, their zip code, and the amount of money that the residents have and contribute. They spend about $20,000 per student a year. We spend roughly $8,000 or $9,000. So just because of your zip code, you have more opportunities and are funded at a higher level. It's really challenging and frustrating.
Yes. Yeah. So because it's so challenging and frustrating, I can imagine one not being interested. Give me a job someplace else. But you chose to stick it out.
Yes. Yes.
And one of your jobs, I guess, is to make people interested and eager to support the school district.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best part of your job?
The students. The students. I mean, when your eyes just light up when they walk into a room, and as you said, they're so full of hope and possibilities. I mean, they just have unlimited possibilities, and they're engaging. And I got to attend some classes during summer school. I walked every classroom and got to visit with students and see the things that they were doing. And these students don't have to come to school in the summer, but they choose to. They chose to.
If I went to school, when I went to school in the summer, I had to go because my parents said, yes, you're going to go. But so, granted, it was not mandatory. But
yes.
Yeah.
I've already fallen in love with one little boy. He has some severe special needs. And yet, despite all of these obstacles that he's facing in life, he always has a smile on his face. Always has a smile. And it just lights up a room.
Great. Great. And speaking of lighting up a room, you have, on the website, she has her blog, essentially. And I guess that's not a blog, really, but it's just, this is who I am.
Yeah, it's just a welcome introduction letter.
This is what I stand for. You mentioned True North, your idea of True North. Would you talk about that, please?
Yes. I just think that my idea of True North is about putting children first. Again, and that's what kind of drew me to the district, is their vision statement, and realizing that we are investing in our future. And if we don't help children succeed, and really, again, back that equity. I have only one child. She's 12, and she has two working parents who, make decent money, and so she's got a lot of opportunities, especially only having one. It's a lot less expensive to have one than to have more children. And every day I just think, not every kid has the same opportunities that she has to travel and to go to museums and to be read to every night. And so I feel like it's my mission, my calling, to serve children and to help them have those same opportunities that, to no fault of their own, they just don't have those same privileges. And so that's why I'm in public education, and that's why I serve the children of California, is to help all children have that equal opportunity and that equal chance.
Okay, great. I just loved your philosophy of True North. That's something that's there and it's not going to move.
No, and it's hard. It's really challenging because I love my staff. And there's often times that I want to make decisions to support them, to make their life a little bit easier. But sometimes I have to go against that because
I have a choice between kid benefits and adult benefits.
I will always put children first.
Yeah.
I will always put children first. And hopefully I'm helping my staff to lead that example as well, is that we make decisions that are best for kids. Always. Every decision we make.
Yes. Okay. And also, before we started talking, you talked about leadership standards, telling our story, and coaching and evaluation.
We have 3 goals for our leadership team. And our leadership team is everyone who's a manager, but also our district office staff. We have incredible people there, and they are leaders of the district. They're helping to shape the future of our children. So our 3 goals are, 1, is coaching and evaluation. How do we help our employees get better at their current job and then perhaps help them find the next thing they want to do? And that requires giving feedback, both constructive and positive. We don't give enough positive feedback. Our second goal is creating industry standards. How do we do business in Auburn Union School District? We have a lot of what I like to call islands of excellence, but we need to be collectively excellent and identify some systems and standards. And then the last one is telling our story, to be advocates for the next generation, because if we don't tell our story, someone else will.
Okay. And what do you mean by telling your story?
I mean about providing the community and parents and families and staff information. For example, did you know that your tax dollars went to redo all of the air conditioning systems in our schools this year? So, and here's about also putting kids first. We did not touch the district office. And so some of our rooms are really hot. But we took our dollars and we fixed the air conditioning. And while that may sound...
In the classrooms.
Right. It may sound like a small thing, but it's hard to learn and work when you're hot.
That is not a small thing.
Yes.
It's hard to teach when you're hot. It's hard to learn when you're hot. Yes.
But we have to tell that story.
Yes.
We have to tell that story to our staff so they know what we did. We have to tell the story to the community so they know how their tax dollars are being spent. And we have to tell our story about the great things that are happening. And also, to be honest with the community, when things are not great, we need to also have that conversation as well.
When you say things might not be great, what do you mean? What sorts of things might not be great?
If there's issues with bullying, how do you report that to the community and how do you talk about how you problem solve? We have really old buildings that need a lot of work and repair. And so when you have only one pot of money, how do you spend that?
You spend it on air conditioning. For the classrooms, yes. And I went to a school in the Bay Area that didn't have air conditioning, and in June it was really grim.
Yes.
Let's see. We're talking about getting the word out and events and new things you're trying. Can you talk about some events that are coming up?
Well, Wednesday is our first day of school, and so make sure everyone's did a good night's sleep and come to school.
Wednesday, what's the date on Wednesday?
Wednesday, August 14th.
That's 2019, August 14, 2019. Yeah.
Yes. And so at all of our schools, but we're going to be, I can only be at one school at a time. I will be at Skyridge Elementary School, and we are having a super heartfelt welcome. And we're going to roll out the red carpet and welcome kids and take pictures. And, I'm sure you remember those first day pictures, first day of kindergarten or first day of fifth grade. Yeah. So, I really believe that our children need to be celebrated. And so we're going to make it a special event and be out there welcoming them. So that's our first event that's coming up.
Yeah. Okay. So you have not had, you were a kindergarten teacher.
I was.
And you started off. Why did you? I can imagine that being a kindergarten teacher is A, fun, and B, tough. Why did you not want to? I know you wanted to be a superintendent, but why did you not want to stay a kindergarten teacher?
That's a good question. I think I just saw that I had 20 students in my class. And I had an impact on them. But I saw my superintendent who had an impact on 25,000 students and was able to touch their lives. And so that was my mission. I want to be able to have an impact on even more students.
Okay. What advice do you have for teachers?
Teach with your heart. Teach with your heart. Always remember that you're a teacher. Sometimes I hear teachers say, they just didn't get it. Well, that means we have to teach it in a different way. Try something new.
Yeah.
The challenge, teachers have a really tough job. We are educating students for jobs that don't even exist yet with our ever-changing technology. And children are coming to us with more challenges. And our teachers work really hard, and they have a very tough job. It's one of the hardest jobs I've ever had to do was be a teacher.
Yeah. What the students are coming to Auburn Union School District classrooms with more challenges. More challenges like what and why?
Well, we just have many more students that are coming from homes of poverty, homes that maybe don't have two parents that are working, just to stay afloat. Students have just experienced some traumatic events in their life, and I just think for my own child, I see the difference that technology, social media, things that she's been exposed to that I never was exposed to, at her age, and so that impacts them. They bring that to the classroom with them every day.
Yeah.
And so it's up to us to we have to educate the whole child. We educate in academics, math, language arts, science, history, art. But we also have to educate the social emotional learning, teaching students to be good citizens and addressing some of their social emotional needs. I'm sure you've seen on the news, students have issues of confidence or self-esteem. I read one statistic that showed that the number of students who have cut themselves was over 60%, I believe the number was.
Oh, good Lord.
So those are real issues that our teachers are dealing with, in addition to I need to have them reading, writing, and problem solving at grade level.
Yes. Yeah.
And we don't have the resources that we probably need to address that. So we're doing the best job that we can, and we're forming partnerships with the community to provide some of those resources to help us educate the whole child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And meanwhile, there might be bullying, there might be problems at home, there might be problems next door, there might be problems that they're seeing. There are problems that they're seeing on television.
Absolutely.
And
Just in the news,
conversations they overhear.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
I mean, just the news recently, there's been shootings, and so children, they see that on the news, and how do you help them feel safe and protected and loved?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So how many schools are there in the district?
We have 5 schools. We have one charter school in Alta Vista, and then we have one middle school that's 6-8, and the rest of our schools are K-5.
Okay.
We serve approximately 1,800 students.
All right. Okay. I am really happy to be talking with you, Amber. This is Amber Lee-Alva, Lee-Alva, who is superintendent of Auburn Union School District. If you want to email her email is alealva@auburn.k12.ca.us, or you can log on to the website auburn.k12.ca.us, and if you're familiar with how schools work, that's a basic website for a school in Auburn. No, in California. Or drop by 255 Epperle Lane, Auburn, which is where the juvenile hall used to be, across from the parking lot of McCall's. And you can also give them a phone call, 530-885-7242. Amber, this has been lovely. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I appreciate the skills you're bringing to the job, and I appreciate your heart and your aiming at true north.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Susan, I just want to add, it's been a lovely experience, and I really want to hear from you. I want to work with our entire community to know how I can make things better and how I can serve you.
Okay. Thank you, Elva. I'm sorry. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you again.